Namaste. Before I get into this, I want to tell you what you're going to walk away with by the end of this video. This is going to be a two-part video. You're going to find out the 8 yogic supernatural powers described in ancient India thousands of years ago. Powers that most people think of as mythology in the West are not only real, I think they're already here. I know they're already here, and I'm going to prove that to you. And by the time this video ends, you're going to look at the world around you completely differently. Because what our civilization has built without even knowing it, and it's going to stop you cold. And then, when you go watch part 2 of this, you're going to discover that these same 8 powers can live inside a single human being. One person right now in today's world. But I think we're getting ahead of ourselves because I need to set the grounds first. So let's start at the beginning. If you've never heard of this word before, that's okay, because I'm going to explain everything. And I think most people haven't heard unless you grew up in a Hindu household or spent time studying yoga philosophy. The word siddhi probably means nothing to you. So let me give it to you simply. Let me explain this. The Sanskrit word siddhi means accomplishment, perfection, attainment. It refers to something that happens to a human being who goes so deep in their spiritual practice, so deep in meditation, so deep in tapas, which means austerity, which means burning away everything inside that's not real, that something begins to open. Something that was always there, but was buried under the weight of our ordinary mind. Think of it this way. We all know that a diamond is just carbon under pressure. The same carbon that's in a piece of coal. The difference is not material. The difference is what happened to it. A siddhi is what happens to a human consciousness under the right kind of pressure. The ordinary mind becomes something else entirely. Now, the ancient seers of India, the rishis, the great masters who sat in caves for decades, they documented this. They documented this carefully. They documented this not as a fantasy, not as a mythology, but as a science. Patanjali, who codified the entire science of yoga into 196 sutras. He devoted an entire chapter to these powers, to these Ashtasiddhis. Chapter 3 of Yoga Sutra is called Vibhuti Pada. Vibhuti Pada. And Vibhuti means manifestation. Vibhuti also means expansion. And in this chapter, Patanjali lists what happens to a human being who reaches a certain depth in their practice. And he didn't say not what might happen. He clearly said what does happen. These powers are not just rewards of being good. They're not blessings handed down from the sky. These powers are natural consequences of a consciousness that has stopped being a prisoner of the material world. Out of the box. And these powers have a name. And if you've never heard this before, I'm going to introduce it to you. And they are called Ashtasiddhi. Ashta means 8 in Sanskrit. 8 specific powers. 8 specific attainments. And the ancient scriptures gave each one of these powers a name. Let me tell you what they are. The first Ashtasiddhi, the first power, is called Anima. Anima means the power to make yourself as small as an atom. To reduce yourself to a size that is beyond perception. Invisible. Undetectable. Moving through space that no ordinary body could move through. Lord Hanuman, who in the Vedic tradition is said to have possessed all 8 of these powers completely. He used Anima when he entered Lanka in his mission to find Queen Sita. He shrank himself to the size of a tiny insect to slip past the entire army of Ravana, undetected. That power is called Anima. The second Ashtasiddhi is called Mahima. And it's the exact opposite of Anima. Mahima is the power to expand yourself to an infinite size, to grow so large that the very atmosphere shifts. Hanuman used Mahima when he needed to leap across the ocean to Lanka. He expanded his form until he was so vast that even the celestial beings who watched from above were startled. It's written in the Vedas. And that's the power of Mahima. The third is called Garima. Garima is the power to become infinitely heavy. So heavy, so rooted, immovable. So heavy that no force in creation can shift you. There's a story in Ramayana where Angad, one of the great warriors, walked into Ravana's court and plants his feet. And he challenges every warrior in that courtroom to move him. And it said that no one could move him. He was so heavy. That power is Garima. The fourth is called Lagima. Now, Lagima is the power to become weightless, lighter than air. The ability to transcend and pull off gravity entirely. Hanuman used Lagima in the Ashoka forest when Ravana's soldiers were searching for him. It said that he became so light, he sat on a leaf and they walked right past him. That power is Lagima. The fifth power is called Prapti. Prapti means the power to reach any place in the universe at will. No barrier of space and time, no barrier of even dimensions. The ancient texts describe it as the ability to touch the moon with one finger. And that's how the sages expressed it. And that power is called Prapti. The sixth power is called Prakamya. Prakamya is the power to know what is in another person's mind before they speak. And beyond that, the power to manifest any desire into reality. What you intend happens. Not by forcing it or not by any effort, by the sheer clarity and precision of your consciousness. That's Prakamya. The seventh superpower, Ashtasiddhi, is called Ishitva. Isha means God. Ishitva is the power of absolute lordship over the entire nature, over all the elements, over creation itself. The ability to create, the ability to sustain, to rearrange, the ability to even dissolve. The ancient texts say that with Ishitva, a person stands in the category of God. That's Ishitva. The eighth superpower is called Vashitva. And Vashitva is the power to subjugate and influence any being, influence any human, influence any animal, and the elements it's themselves influence everything. And not through domination, but through a mastery so complete that all of nature, all of living beings come under your will, willingly. The three modes of nature themselves cannot impede the one who holds the power of Vashitva. That's the power of Vashitva. Eight powers: Anima, Mahima, Garima, Lagima, Prapti, Prakamya, Ishitva, and Vashitva. And the scriptures confirm something extraordinary about them. These powers, they don't come separately. It's not like taking a course. You don't just unlock one power and then earn the next power. They come as a package because they were never 8 separate things, you see. They are 8 faces of a single unified state of consciousness. A consciousness that has stopped being, like I said, the prisoner of the material world. Now, here's where I need to be honest with you about something. You see, everything I just described, the ancient masters meant it literally, physically. They were not speaking in metaphor. They were not writing poetry. When they said a man could shrink to the size of an atom, they meant it. When they said a person could become so heavy that no force could move them, they meant that too. And I say this with complete respect for the Vedas, because what was possible in that era of human existence was genuinely different from what most people can access today. The ancients described a time when consciousness was more fluid, when the relationship between awareness and matter was not what it is in the modern mind. I'm not here to argue about what was or wasn't literal, but I'm here to tell you something the ancient seers would not have been surprised to hear. Stick with me. It's getting better. The powers never disappeared. The Ashtasiddhi, they just changed form. And I'm going to explain it to you. And what I'm about to show you is going to make you look at everything around you, with complete different eyes. What if I told you that humanity as a collective has already expressed every single one of these Ashtasiddhis? I'm not saying as a magic trick or anything, and not as a mythology, as science, as technology, as civilization. What if the Vedic sages were not just describing what a single yogi could do, even though I'm going to also show you how a single person can do this, but we're actually describing where all of humanity was eventually going to experience. Now, so I'm going to pick each one of these superpowers and tell you where to look for it, one by one. So the first one was, remember, it was anima, the power to reduce to atom size. Let me show you the same power in this world. Right now, today, we have something called nanotechnology. We have electron microscopes that allow us to see, manipulate each atom. We build machines at the atomic level now. We operate inside matter at its most fundamental structure. Anima. The next one is Mahima. Let's look at it in the modern world. The power to expand to cosmic size, amazing size. Right now, the James Webb Space Telescope is showing us images of galaxies that are 13 billion light years away. 13 billion light years away. We have expanded our perception to the literal edge of the universe. Mahima, you didn't just look up at the stars. We saw them, we reached them. Mahima. Next one is Garima, the power to become immovably heavy. We have built structures so massive, they reshape geography. We have built dams that redirect rivers, foundations that hundreds of feet go down to earth. We have planted things in this world that it's difficult to move, too heavy. The next one is Lagima, the power to become weightless, the power to transcend gravity. We have left the planet. Human beings are living right now in zero gravity on a space station orbiting Earth. We didn't just dream of just flying. We left the pull of the Earth entirely, pull of gravity. The next power is Prapti, the power to reach any place, any person, instantly. You are holding it in your hand right now as you watch me. A phone call, a video call, the internet. You can reach any point on this planet, anytime, any human being on Earth, in seconds. Without any walls, boundaries, distance. We didn't just travel the world. We collapsed it. You can reach anyone in seconds. The next one is Prakamya, the power to know what is on another person's mind before they speak. We now have brain scanning technology that reads through patterns, algorithms for marketing. We have artificial intelligence that completes your sentence before you're finished. We have built systems that model human desires with such precision that they know what you want before you consciously want it, used in modern marketing. Think about that. Think about that for a moment. The next one is Ishitwa, the power to control nature, to rearrange creation itself. We have gene editing, CRISPR technology. It allows us to go inside the code of life and rewrite it. We seed clouds to create rain. We split atoms. We modify the fundamental building blocks of the living organism. We're not just observing nature anymore. We are actually writing it, authoring it. The next one is Vashitva, the power to influence any being. You see, One video, one post on social media can reach 1 billion minds simultaneously. We have built systems that can move the collective behavior of entire population. The algorithms that run our world are the most sophisticated tools of influence ever created. We didn't just lead people. We learned how the mind itself can be shaped through technology. That's Ashtasiddhi, all eight of them. You're watching right now. Every single one, expressed at a scale that no ancient yogi could have imagined. Not by one person in a cave. By civilization itself. And here's the thing that should make you sit with this. Think for a little while. See, the ancient seers called these powers Brahma Pradhana Siddhi, the divine attainments, properties of God's own consciousness. And what they were saying is that these are the natural destination of a consciousness that keeps expanding, that keeps going deeper, keeps refusing to accept it, refusing to accept limitations. So humanity keeps going deeper. And look what happened. We'll get to it. But now, I need to tell you what Patanjali said about all of these powers. Because after writing an entire chapter on how to attain these 8 powers, he said something that shocked everyone, that stopped everyone from thinking further. He said, "Do not aspire for them." I'm not kidding. He said, not because they aren't real, not because they aren't amazing, extraordinary, but because the person who chases these powers will always miss what the powers were pointing at. There's an analogy. A beggar who normally receives, say, 2 chapatis feel like a king when he gets a feast. But a true king doesn't feel rich finding a coin on the ground. See, siddhis are the feast. But there is something beyond the feast, is what Patanjali said. And the person who mistakes the feast for the destination, sadly, never arrives. Look at what happened with civilization. We got Prapti, one of the powers. We can reach anyone instantly. And we are more lonely than at any point in human history. We got Prakamya. We can read minds algorithmically now. And we use it to sell people things. Sell things that they don't need. We got Ishitwa. We can rewrite the DNA code of life. And we are in the middle of an ecological crisis. We got Vashitva. We can influence billions of people. And we are drowning in misinformation. You see, powers are real, and these are powers. Powers are here. Those powers, Ashtasiddhis. But without the consciousness that the ancient masters said was supposed to come with them, the power become the problem now. This is exactly what Patanjali was warning us about. Not that the siddhis are bad, but siddhis without sadhana, powers without wisdom, are the most dangerous thing in the world. That's what Patanjali was saying. So, here we are. Humanity has already expressed all 8 Ashtasiddhis at a civilization level. And the result is a world of extraordinary power and extraordinary confusion. Because we got the package. We got the powers without the manual, without the wisdom. We got the siddhis without the sadhana. But you see, the ancient texts were not describing where civilization was going as a final word. They were talking about where the individual was supposed to go, not the machine or the algorithm. They were not talking about any systems. They were talking about a single human consciousness, single human being awake, being grounded, clear, carrying all 8 inside themselves as a natural expression of who they have become. More interesting stuff coming in part 2. I'm going to show you what those 8 powers look like in a real human life in the modern world. It's not going to be technology. I'm talking about human beings, their relationships, conversations, accomplishments, expressing these powers. And here's what's going to hit you the hardest in part 2. I promise this. You've already met someone who carries some of these powers. And when I tell you this, you're going to start noticing it. Maybe more than some, a lot of people do. And part 2 is going to show you what it looks like when one person has all 8 powers. So, watch part 2. Because what we built as a civilization is extraordinary. But what you can build inside yourself is something else entirely. So, part 2, I'll see you there.